All right, all right, all right. Welcome back to another episode of Freedom from Alcohol. My name is Chris Shatek with Matt Gardner. What's up, Matt?
Hey, Chris. Hello, everybody.
And Lauren is out today. She's not feeling the best, so you just get the bros today. Sorry
Just
about that.
bros. Yeah.
But we are going to talk about something that I think is very interesting, and a lot of people have reached out to us to talk about this because it's something many people deal with. Basically, I got a message the other day from somebody that says their partner of 3 years is alcohol dependent, and he wants to quit. When he drinks, he's a totally different person. When he's not drinking, he is a lovely person. And basically, this woman is doesn't know what to do. Right? She's given him opportunity after opportunity to stop. He says he wants to. He'll stop for a little bit, but then goes back to it. He'll do some binge drinking. And she's kind of at her wit's end. So she wanted to know if we've done a podcast talking about this, and we have not yet. But I think it's a good one to get into
Mhm.
because a lot of people deal with this. A loved one who is struggling with alcohol, whether it's a partner, a spouse, a friend, whatever, and you've tried to help them, you've tried to support them. They say they're going to stop, but they don't. They keep coming back to it. You're put in this position of what do I do? Um, and it's a very difficult position. And oftentimes it's very sad when people come to me and ask me about this because I don't have the best answer for them. But I'm curious to know, Matt, your take on this, and then I'll share mine.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'll share my own personal experience with this because I have my wife Darcy and I have been together for 18 years, and we were the party couple, right? And then we got sober, independent of each other. Actually, we put a pause on the relationship and found that both of us gravitated towards going alcohol drug free, and then got back together with the idea, like, I wonder if is there still something here, and there was, right? And then of course, unfortunately, that led us back to drinking, right? Like, wow, everything's going so well, so let's get back to drinking. So fast forward from there, when I quit, there was 1 year period where Darcy was still drinking. Now, not every day, but intermittently. And similar to what the gal that had texted you or emailed you about this, it was just we're very incompatible. If one of us is staying away from drugs and alcohol and the other one isn't, uh, clash big time, big time. Yeah, to the point it was risking our relationship, and I was open about that, and it would continue to happen. And so it was reaching a breaking point, honestly. So it is very challenging. So my heart goes out to anybody that has to deal with this. And the best thing I can say just from experience is be supportive, but also realize that being supportive doesn't mean that you have to take shit, right? That doesn't mean you have to take any kind of like emotional abuse or put yourself out there in a spot that makes you, uh, feel like you're being codependent or vice versa, right? There's still a boundary in there, and the boundary can remember boundaries can fluctuate, right? Depending on how you feel that day, your emotions that day. It doesn't have to be this hard line in the sand that you have to like hold up rigidly. Boundaries can fluctuate depending on what you're going through that day as well. So remembering putting yourself first, and support can show up in the way of stepping away from the relationship for a bit, if that's what's needed, whatever is needed for that, a break from the relationship, a break from each other. And then that's like putting a pattern disruption on these usual patterns of, okay, now you're going to do this, and then I'm going to have a conversation with you, and then you're going to feel victimized, and then I'm going to, oh, well, I didn't mean you to do that, right? And all these different like patterns of relationship dynamics that come out and are really distorted because there's substance abuse involved. So just remembering that, support isn't just like the yang style of like active participation. Sometimes it's yin, like the yin to the yang. Step back from the relationship, give it some space, give that other person some space, and realize at the end of the day, that person will change only when they're ready to change. It doesn't matter if a doctor tells them they're going to die if they stop drinking. I mean, I know this from experience. It doesn't matter if like a concerned parent or family member, interventions have a pretty small success rate as for this reason. And as a result, the person that you're in the relationship with, they can say they're doing it for you, but they have to be doing it for themselves. And they have to come to that terms with that themselves. So you can be present in their lives, however you can be and be supportive, however that looks, right? Being like physically present or giving them space to figure that out. And that's what it looks like. But ultimately, you got to remember it's going to come down to them. You can't force them to see it your way. That's just going to push them way further. It really comes down to the person will change when they're ready to. And they can use you as a motivator, right? And you can be inspiration for them. But change always comes from within.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Uh, the switch has to be flipped in their mind. And nagging doesn't work, you know, and we have to be careful not to enable them either. And I know that that happens quite a bit where
Mhm.
it gets to the point where, maybe your partner is going, okay, I'm quitting drinking. They've been sober for a couple of days, but then they're getting really agitated and mean, and so the partner goes, "Just go ahead and have a drink. It's okay. It's fine," because they don't want it
Right.
to get down to a dark place, and then it
Exactly.
becomes this cycle, and then you're enabling, and that's not something you want to do either. Um, so I'm curious with you and Darcy because she doesn't drink now, right? You guys are
Correct.
both alcohol free, right?
That's right. Yeah. So I'm 5+ years, and she was almost, I think, within a couple months of a year later. I think she's like 14 months after I went alcohol free. She went alcohol free.
So how did that? What did the switch just finally flip in her, or what happened? Because
Yeah.
something similar happened with my wife and I too. But I'm just curious to know your story there.
There was something that happened specifically that I'm not willing to disclose just for her
Okay,
privacy's sake.
got it.
But there was definitely a moment that you either get the feather on your shoulder from the universe or the brick to the back of the head. She definitely got the brick to the back of the head, and since then she's good.
Okay, yeah, and same sort of deal. I mean, with my wife, nothing major happened, but her and I would that our whole relationship was built on drinking. We met while we were drinking. We would sit on the couch and drink, or we would go out with our friends and we would drink and we would have a good time. And so much of our relationship was wrapped up in alcohol, and so it was really strange when I decided to quit. I had no idea what was going to happen, and I didn't expect her to quit. She didn't drink as much as I did. She didn't pass out on the couch every night like I did, and
Yeah.
but she still drank a lot, and she was actually allergic to it. She would break out in rashes and stuff like that. And so it just she just saw the changes in me and the difference in clarity, energy, mood, all this stuff. She's like, you know what? Yeah, there's no reason for me to sit here and get drunk. My partner's
Mm,
not doing it anymore, and so
right.
she just decided to be done too. And that's not to say that that's going to happen in every relationship. There are plenty of relationships where one person will quit drinking, the other person still drinks because they maybe don't have a problem with it or it's not an issue, and that's okay. So we can't expect that if we quit drinking, that our spouse or our partner or whatever is going to automatically do the same, unless there's an issue there. But in this case, where it's the partner or the spouse that has the issue, my take on it is you have to be willing to walk away. Now, I'm not saying you walk away or you give an ultimatum because again, I don't think that's going to work. That's it's not going to make the person go, "Oh, they're threatening to leave, so now I'm going to all of a sudden want to quit drinking." If
Right.
anything, it might do the opposite. But I do believe that that person has to know that you're serious about you're not going to sit around and take this. If it's something that you've had the conversation about and they keep coming back to alcohol over and over again,
Hmm.
and they're not respecting your wishes. It's impacting you personally. I don't want you to stay in that relationship uh, if the person is not willing to change. It's like anything else. If your partner was gambling or going into debt, shopping all the time, spending a lot of money, and it was a drain on you,
Right.
why are you going to stick around for that? I mean, you can only love a person so much if they're not willing to work on themselves to better the relationship for both of you because it is a team, it's a partnership, then
Hmm.
you have to be willing to walk away. And I think if it needs to, then just do walk away. And as hard as that may be to hear, it's not fair to you to be in that situation and to keep being a babysitter, to keep putting up with it. And we see that all the time. And as that's why I say I hate it when people come to me with that because that's what I'll tell them is like, look,
Yeah.
you
Yep.
got to be willing to leave the relationship. It's not worth your sanity and your life if this person is not willing to work on themselves. Um,
Yeah.
and one of the things that you can do is sit down with them and just really be honest about how this is affecting how you feel about it. A lot of times people tiptoe around this stuff. That's not what you want to do here. I think you want to go all the way in. Hey, this is affecting me because of this. You're verbally abusive when you drink. You're mean. I don't like the way that things go down. Like this has been going on for too long. I'm not going to put up with it anymore. Get really honest about it. Don't pussyfoot around the subject. Say, here's what's happening, and I'm not going to put up with it anymore. But then also dream with that person. Say, look, this is why I want you to work on this because I want to have a future that looks like this. Like, what do you want the future to look like? And
Mm,
help get them excited about what that could be. And dream about what you want the life to look like. What could happen if this person was alcohol free and it wasn't weighing the relationship down. Because
yeah.
oftentimes when people are in that position where it's dark, they're drinking, they want to quit, but they can't. Like nobody asks to be there. It's
Right.
dark and they don't see a way out. They don't feel hopeful that there is a positive future on the other side of this thing. They don't see that. If you can help them see that and get them hopeful and excited, I think that can have a huge impact.
Mm,
What are your
mhm.
thoughts on that?
Definitely. I think time and place for that, right? Like you got to get them when they're at their most clear-headed, right? If there's like a few days that they're taking a drink from breaking, or easy for me to say, break from drinking, that would be a chance to do it. Like if you're going to go out for dinner or something and make schedule the time or block the time to do it in a safe spot, right? Not when the person's cripplingly hungover, spring it on them, right? And not when they're still like half cut or something either, right? Because then there's just going to be that distortion that the alcohol creates. But absolutely, yeah. Find the pocket of time that you know the person as well as you do. If you've been with them for a while, you know when the time is to be able to find that time with them. And absolutely, yeah, find some excitement and find some light at the end of the tunnel. Some reasons why, right? I mean, that's what we talk about with our clients all the time. That's one of the first exercises that we have them do is why. Like, why were you drinking, and why would you want to change your relationship with alcohol in the first place?
Yeah, if you don't have a strong why, that's going to be a big reason why you are going to continue to go back to alcohol. You have to have something to pull you through, to really get you to go, this is why I'm doing it. This is why I'm going through this challenging situation because I want this on the other side of it. And it has to be clear, it has to be attainable, and it's got to get you excited, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Like for me, and I've talked about this before, but it was just I know I'm meant for more than just getting drunk, poisoning myself, and being an
Hmm.
idiot, right?
Yeah.
Uh, I used to be a driven, motivated person that had goals and dreams and passion, and all of that had gone in the back seat with alcohol. And I'm like,
Hmm.
that's not me. That's not the real me. I want to get back in touch with the real me.
Hmm.
And that's what can happen when you do this. It's one of the most beautiful things that can happen.
Yeah.
Um, so helping the person see that and always coming from a place of love, right? Again, the nagging
Of course.
thing, the threatening thing is not going to work. But say, look, I love you. I want you to get better. I want you to get better for you. I want you to get better for us because here's what it could look like. And sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. Sometimes you aren't
Hmm.
going to be able to convince that person. They will continue to go down that path until the switch flips in them.
Yeah.
We had a client who uh, his sister reached out to me and was like, my brother he's a great guy. Uh, he keeps going back to alcohol. I don't know what to do. I recommended, your program to him. We'll see if he reaches out. Um, and he did reach out because she had told him to, but then he drank and missed the appointment. But then he
Yeah.
decided a couple of days later, no, I really want to see if this is going to be right for me. Um, and he ended up getting on a call with me, and he worked with you, Matt,
Mm.
directly. And
Mm.
now he's in a whole different place. Like his life has completely turned around
Right.
because his sister loved him enough to not nag, but say, "Hey, I know there's the real you in there. Let's see if there's something that you can do about this." And maybe the person in your life doesn't see a way out because they don't want to go to AA, they don't want to go to rehab, they don't want to miss work, they don't want to call themselves an alcoholic, they don't want to have to work on this for the rest of their lives. And so maybe they don't know that there are other ways to break free from this. Working
Mm.
with us is one, but there's other ways out
Hmm.
there too. There's other communities out there. There's plenty of different alternatives.
Hmm.
Um, and so just letting them know, like, hey, here's some other options. What about if you did this? You know, because there are a lot of people that really shy away from the traditional methods because
Yeah.
and that was me. I was like,
Hmm.
that's not gonna work for me. And that scared me because I'm like, well, how do I actually
Yeah,
figure this out then? Right.
for
So
sure.
yeah. Any other thoughts on that?
Well, we have a whole podcast on that. If anybody wants to look in our archive, there is a whole podcast about alternate ways to quit alcohol, which is a really worthwhile episode. We'd explore all the different ways to do it, the coaching, AA, all the different methods, and sort of compare them and see where they overlap, etc. So I'd highly recommend anybody to look back in the archives of our podcast. Uh, yeah, the one thing that stood out to me actually is this whole idea of babysitting people and just remembering like, okay, be very aware of where you're caring for somebody is starting to cross over the line into like what you said, enabling somebody. If you're babysitting somebody, is that actually enabling, right? Is it being very aware of where you're if you're are you crossing that line where you're being there supportive mentally and physically, or are you actually uh, helping them and enabling them in that sense and creating this like codependent relationship that's really somewhat dysfunctional because of the alcohol. So, and only you'll know where that is, right? Where that threshold is for you within that context of your relationship. That can be nuanced depending on the behavior of the other person, how long you've been together, how much the person drinks, etc. Right? So, but just being aware of that, I wanted to mention because you mentioned the babysitting theme of this whole thing and the enabling thing. So just yeah, just that would be another piece of advice I wanted to throw in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's not a fun topic. I know there's a lot of people that are struggling and dealing with this right now, and I empathize with you if you are in this position because you love somebody. One of the worst things to do is see them suffer and struggle, and you can't do anything to help them. And so, uh, you know, if you're in that position, I would take the advice that we take here, but also whatever is going to work best for you. But I would not stay in a relationship where the person is going to continue to uh, to drink, to continue to put you in a situation that is uncomfortable, that doesn't work.
Hmm.
It's not going to end well, you know. And sometimes we have to make that hard decision to just get out, or at least be willing to
Hmm.
and let our voices be heard. So,
Yeah.
if you are in that position, comment below. What did you do?
Hmm.
Leave a
Hmm.
comment here, or if you can relate to this, like because there's other people that we'd love to hear your opinions on this too, right? So go ahead and
Definitely.
comment.
Yeah.
Leave a 5-star review if this resonates with you. I hope that it does.
Yeah.
And if you do know somebody that's struggling, or if you are yourself struggling, there is help, there's hope. And if you don't want to go down the traditional route, or you're not sure what to do, we'd love to have a conversation with you to see if we can help. We do have a 96% success rate because it's not just about quitting drinking, it's about getting your life into a really good place that you're excited about. And we make alcohol insignificant where the desire is not there. Let's go get you excited about your life. That's really our philosophy. And it's a different approach. And we love our clients. We love our community. It works really, really well. So if you're in that boat and you're ready for it, if you know somebody that is, you can click the link below on this podcast, or just go to coachbychris.com. That'll get you hooked up. You can see who we've helped. You can hear from other people and book a call with me and
Hmm.
see if we can help you. So thank you so much for listening, and we will check you next time on Freedom from Alcohol.
Thanks, everybody.